Good afternoon, net peoples. I'm gonna post some of my thoughts about the WWE and this past Monday Night Raw and some of the stuff story wise that they've done that's kind of weird and bizarre and don't know why the hell they do it, but they do. Okay, first off, Ryback. They turned him heel super fast and then they built him up to be this incredible monster. I mean, he was taking out people left and right. He fought Bryan and beat him via disqualification. Um, Basically put Kofi out of action, which I know that was because Kofi was going out for injury anyway. We understand that. They got to write it in somehow. But they took him and made him a monster, if you will, and had him lose every single pay-per-view. That's not how you build a monster. A monster is somebody that walks through the competition like nobody's business. Like, stomp, 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 walk right through. Fuck you people, I am a monster. The things that, it's like when Big Show, when they finally gave him his heel turn and his ironclad contract, when they finally done that stuff, he became a lot better a character because he didn't give a crap what anybody thought. He come out there and beat the hell out of people, which was fine. But they created Ryback, and he was starting to gain momentum as a face. Then they just swapped him over to a heel really fast. And their biggest mistake was putting him against Super Cena because we know Super Cena can't lose for some reason because this is his comeback year or whatever the hell it is. I would have wrote that story completely different. This is what I would have done. I would have had Ryback at this last pay-per-view demolish John Cena. Put him out of action for a couple of months or, 2 or 3 months. Take him out. He just literally just beat the hell out of him. Then have Ryback have a run as the champion, a bad, nasty champion who comes out, does what he wants, screws people over. If you want to make him a heel, make him a heel. Don't make him, sometimes he's a heel. Well, he might not be a heel, but is he a heel? He could be. Well, he might not be. Make him a heel, keep him a heel. I think one of the right things they did on Monday Night Raw, now Alberto Del Rio is a heel again, which is what is needed. Alberto Del Rio sucks as a face. Let's all be honest about it. He's better as the Mexican aristocrat. People love to hate rich people. People love to hate that kind of personality. Him as a face, I didn't like him as a face. I'm sorry. I like him as a heel. He needs to come out and be dirty and nasty. Obviously, now they're switching and they're making Dolph Ziggler a face. How that's going to work out with AJ Lee being the super female heel of the company and them turning him face, I see them breaking them two up. That's where I see that going to as far as storyline. They might not, Lord knows they make weird decisions sometimes. Three-man band, get rid of them or break them up and give them some legitimacy to their. I'm sure they're all. I know Drew McIntyre is a great wrestler. Unfortunately, he's tied to three-man band. He is a good wrestler. He's entertaining. He's an entertaining character. However, the three-man band thing, there's nothing there. There's no steam to get behind. There's nothing that you go, oh, Jesus, this is the best match I've ever seen. Holy crap. Not like the Bryan matches of late, which has been phenomenal. Monday night when they stopped because of his concussion, nerve damage, whatever. I can see the company's perspective on that one. Yes, if he really was injured, yeah, that match needed to be stopped because he's been throwing himself all over the place and he's wearing himself down really fast. But he's getting a good push. I'm afraid what WWE is going to do is what they always do. They're going to give him a decent push and then just shove him right back to the back of the line like they do everybody, like Ryback. Give him a push, make him a super heel, then push him away because Super Cena beat him. Woo, Super Cena's back. Mark Henry coming out as the big beast monster. I love Mark Henry. Good guy, bad guy. Mark Henry's a great guy. Outside the ring, inside the ring, Mark Henry's a great guy. Him as a heel, he works great as a heel, but I don't think they give the Ryback Cena thing long enough. Their writing is awful. You know, people sit there and they always claim, you know, I've heard other people like Paul Heyman and people like that say Vince plans 5 years ahead of himself. Does he really? Really? Does anybody out there see that he's planning that far ahead? Because every week they write stories, and the day of their tapings, they change the stories again because Vince don't like the stories. Well, if Vince has got that forward thinking, then he could see incremental increases of where the story's going to instead of, well, I don't like that. Just get rid of that. You're fired. You're fired too. It's ridiculous. If you build a monster, the point behind it is the monster is supposed to be an unstoppable force that nobody but the true babyface can beat. I know that's what John Cena represents. John Cena represents the babyface of the company, and that's why a lot of people don't like him. I like him. I know it's the 5 moves of doom. Everybody goes on and on about the 5 moves of doom, but hell, every wrestler has their 5 moves of doom. I don't give a crap who it is. There's only a few people with real talent that changes it up. Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, people like that who actually have wrestling backgrounds can change up their movesets, and it looks good. John Cena, you know what you're getting with John Cena. I don't understand why there's so much animosity towards him. Would I like to see a John Cena heel run? Sure, everybody would. However, I don't think we're going to see a John Cena heel run anytime soon. If anything, it would have happened after the Nexus and the Core and all that stuff. I was expecting it to happen then, but didn't. Ryback needs to be focused and directed. Plain and simple. I don't think that whoever's writing his story is, they're either attention deficit, they got attention deficit disorder and they don't know what they're writing from one week to the next, or Vince McMahon has no idea what to do with him. I'm glad ADR has gone back to being a heel. He needs to be a heel. Ziggle's going face. I don't know. Orton, obviously the Orton heel turn, it's come, but it's not. You know, Monday night was kind of an exception where he come out there and he helped Daniel Bryan up and stuff because, you know, he's got legitimate concern. The guy is wrestling with him. He's making him look good just by being in the ring with him. That's how good Daniel Bryan is becoming. Jericho fighting 3-man band. Why? Curtis Axel being the Intercontinental Champion. Why? They've not really built him up yet. They've not. You know, it's like Wade Barrett. It's a shame that their writing, as far as Wade Barrett is concerned, is awful. Wade Barrett is amazing in the ring. Yeah, he was out for an injury, but hell, these guys wrestle 280, 290 days a year. They're going to be injured. You know, they go out and they don't only wrestle Monday Night Raw, but they wrestle SmackDown. They wrestle Superstars. They wrestle Main Event. They wrestle all these other wrestling. My ban is exploding because Vince was so stupid. Yes, Vince, you were stupid by not allowing WCW and ECW to remain a company brand. They could have all been sold under the WWE brand, but there could have been WCW programming with their own wrestlers and ECW programming with their own wrestlers. No mixing the brands. That was the downfall of the brands, was mixing of people. WCW has its own set rules. ECW has its own set rules. You could still bring it back. You could still do it. And WWE has its own set of rules. WCW could have been the wrestling program. It could have been the wrestling program. WWE could have been the entertainment program. ECW could have been the hardcore fans. And the ECW could have been the R-rated program, while the WCW could have been PG-13. A little bit of dirtiness here, a little bit of dirtiness there. I get it. You know, fun. WWE, PG. Everybody would have had a choice if you would have separated out the companies and said, this is the person running this company. I am not, you know, if I overstep the boundaries and tell you exactly what to do, that's because there's a reason behind it. ECW could have been run by Paul Heyman. Don't give him the checkbook. Just give him the rights to run the brand. Say, look, you do what you got to do. You hire who you need to hire. You get what you need to get. make that brand accessible and make that brand viable and profitable. And WCW could have been the alternative, not TNA. TNA is starting to pick their game up a little bit, although I think it's a little bit too Hulk Hogan centric, which it don't need to be. I'm telling you, it always comes down to the damn writing in WWE. They write some, this past Monday was pretty damn good. I think the McMahons being back in there, I think it's a little bit much. Them fighting off against each other. I know it creates some kind of ratings, but it's like when she come out there during the Divas thing, whatever. I like seeing Stephanie McMahon as much as anybody else. I like watching Vince McMahon, but this Vince, Stephanie, Triple H triangle of disaster that they're doing, I don't see where it's going. Don't really care. I was happy about the Mark Henry thing. I'm glad he didn't retire. I like watching him as a wrestler, and he does need to be in the company for a lot longer period of time. RVD coming back. I like RVD. I like him in TNA. I like him in ECW. I like him in WWE. It's RVD. He's a character in and of himself that you know whenever you see him. Let's see what other big amazing things. The Paul Heyman, CM Punk, and if I was writing that segment, what I would have done is right at the end when Brock come out and F5 Punk, I would have had it to where Paul Heyman just run out on stage and go, "Oh my God, what did you do? What did you do?" That way he could have played off. He's still both their managers, and had it to where Brock Lesnar has a personal vendetta against Punk for basically dissing Paul Heyman, his best friend. That would have been a really interesting psychological mix-up there. It would have been awesome. However, whenever they do come to their match, which I'm assuming will be SummerSlam, I don't know whether Money in the Bank will happen, but SummerSlam, them two go at it. That's going to be the match to watch because they're both wrestlers. I don't care what anybody says about Brock being a beast. He's a wrestler first and foremost, and he always has been. NCAA champion wrestler. Him and Punk will put on the match of the year. If they do it right, that will be the match of the year. Nobody will top it because them two can work off each other if done correctly and shown correctly. I hope WWE understands that when you build up a rivalry, to build it up, not just build it up 2 weeks, pay-per-view over. All right, on to the next thing. It's like the Intercontinental Belt. I have no faith in the Intercontinental Belt right now because the way they wrote it, the U.S. belt's been the same way, but now that it's on Dean Ambrose, it looks like it's going to go for a little while. However, I would like to see the Shield start winning legitimate matches instead of it being a 3-on-1 beatdown. Like to see them actually come out and start winning matches by themselves to prove that they are a legitimate force to be reckoned with. And keep the idea of the Shield going to where it's all three of them, but they can win their matches on their own. See, now they're just showing up. They can't win unless all three of them are there for some reason. That's kind of a bad direction to take them. But I want to see more of the Shield. Daniel Bryan needs to be the champion. I would have had Ryback win the belt off of Cena, put Cena out for a couple months, and then have Ryback being confronted by Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan winning the belt and keeping the belt for a long period of time. That would have brought legitimacy to the belt, especially if you made Daniel Bryan a fighting champion. But I'm not WWE, just a fan. I do enjoy the programming. If not, I wouldn't watch it. There are some things that I scratch my head going, what the fuck was that about? But as a wrestling fan, that's what we all do. If you want to leave a comment below, that's fine. If you think that my opinion about the Ryback situation and the writing and him keeping WCW, ECW, and WWE alive, if you think all that's wrong, just let me know down there, and I'll probably be like, got a point. Or, fuck you. Either way.